Hello, everyone, and welcome. Anyone needs to take a quick stretch, welcome to do that. Got a lovely crowd tonight of 41 people. I'm so excited everyone was able to make it here tonight to pinch hit. Okay, can I have a thumbs up again if everyone can hear me? Good, thank you. Very good. Excellent. So tonight's talk is titled The 10 Paramis for Peace Today and Tomorrow. I did initially intend to bring some more of Thea's handouts from last week and place them on the seats, but that's not going to help tonight. So I did just list them in the chat, so I hope everyone can access the 10 of them in the chat to refer to. You can give me a thumbs up on that. Great. Yay. Very good. Okay. So if anyone is new here tonight, and for those returning, welcome back to IMCC, the Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte, where all are welcome. I'd like to start with our mission statement. That is that the Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte is an educational organization practicing insight and loving kindness meditation. We are an inclusive community studying and practicing the early teachings of the Buddha with the intention of manifesting mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion. So last week, Thea gave a very timely talk on how to use the Dharma practice to help with challenging times. And interestingly enough, no matter how good or bad the times are, I can usually find a way to consider them challenging. Sometimes they're more troubling than others. And although I've had some really, truly wonderful things going on in my life, I have never felt less safe in my country, including on September 11th. And I say that because for at least for a while, I felt at September 11th like our country was united. I feel safer when we are united, when we're together. I now feel less certain than ever that we can be united, strong, and safe. And perhaps this is childish and ignorant of me, but I had an idea in my head historically that we were a country that other countries emulated. But now I'm worried that we seem weak and confused. I may well be wrong, but times seem more uncertain than any other time in my life. We're taught in this practice that life is uncertain, and for some reason I now think it's more uncertain than ever, at least from what I know. I find myself mad and sad when I look at our current events. The unrest seems so unnecessary, and I want it to stop, and I want a solution. And I don't have the perfect solution. I've actually been rather stagnant. Other than intimately and occasionally writing my leaders with my concerns, I have not been much help in changing things for the positive. Tonight, I want to tack on to Thea's talk from last week and take a deeper dive into the 10 paramis, or what are called the 10 perfections, which are the 10 wholesome qualities of character that we are all encouraged to cultivate, to move towards awakening, and to promote harmony. And as you may have seen in the chat, these 10 paramis are generosity, morality, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. It occurred to me that this talk might come off very Pollyanna-ish. Come on, people now, smile on each other. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Could the paramis actually work to bring us harmony? Help protect each other, reduce fears, produce perhaps a win-win situation for most, if not all? Can we use the paramis in an effort to reduce tension in our society? And when we use them and look at these and apply them before shooting off any texts, posts, emails, verbal exchanges, or engaging in protests in order to try to set the stage for optimal outcomes. This is an opportunity to check in with these values first, and then decide whether or not they resonate with us and each of our own personal values. Then maybe we can modify our responses accordingly to be as skillful as possible when we act. I'd like to take a look at each one of these as a practice for becoming more productive and effective in bringing about positive change and foster harmony and cooperation. I'll start off first with generosity. It is a practice to cultivate compassion and joy. And in generosity, we let go of the obsession with individual gain and the mindset of scarcity. Generosity is the practice that helps us to reduce the human habit of clinging. Our IMCC founder, Joy Libeth, said the greatest generosity that we can give is to give up our ego. In truly letting go, there is freedom from expectation, freedom from judgment, and freedom from grasping onto that which is ultimately impermanent. Generosity is not numbing or avoiding what we don't want to face. It is releasing our grasp, non-attachment, in an effort to decrease suffering for both the giver and the receiver. In any interaction, our greatest generosity is being mindful and being responsible for our own energy and spirit and actions, no matter who the audience is. The goal of generosity is to practice to manifest contentment in letting go for the good of community. Perhaps stepping out of our comfort zone and putting a little extra effort and time forth to contact those who we feel might be helpful, perhaps our leaders, with a request for accountability if you believe their actions are not in line with your values. Sometimes generosity is also giving benefit of the doubt to an other when we think their actions might be unreasonable or until it's proven otherwise. The second of the paramis is morality, so we can live in harmony with ourselves and with others. It's a call to operate with integrity and consciously practice the 5 precepts of refraining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, from bad speech or harsh speech, and also from toxicants which might cloud our mind and judgment. In this manner, we give safety to our fellow man. Do a check-in. Identify thoughts and reactions within ourselves that are born of greed, hatred, and delusion, which are known as the defilements, and try your best to abandon these. Be honest about your goal when you act and the motivations and intentions behind it. We may judge things to be unfair, unjust, but our own behavior determines whether we are just making the situation worse and productively working towards our true goal in the long run. Choose actions that don't cause harm to others, including ourselves. Behave in a manner that others can trust and value us. The goal of morality is goodness. Renunciation is the third parami. Letting go for the sake of peace. Practicing restraint and recognizing the insatiable wanting for things to be our way equals suffering. It gives us insight into impermanence. Everything passes, even that which is undesirable. It's difficult to let go if we're emotionally charged. If we are in our reptilian brain and we are fired up, it is best that we stop, drop, and meditate. Rebalance our emotions first and let the mammalian brain, the higher cortex brain, step in to help us to see what is worth pursuing and what is not. If we are playing nicely in our sandbox, kind of like our sandbox, everything for the most part is going pretty well. We have our challenges. Things keep falling down when we pile them up in our sandbox, and then we lose things. We've got to look around for them in our sandbox, but we're okay. But then all of a sudden, somebody comes along who acts like a bully in our sandbox. What if we can recognize that this bully likely doesn't have the skills of self-regulation and awareness? We might try to placate them, but perhaps it's better if we try ourselves to co-regulate or self-regulate ourselves first, then try to see if we can turn the temperature down by things like slowing our breath, slowing our speech, softening our body a little bit so the other person recognizes we are not of harm, we intend no harm, and perhaps they can calm themselves a bit at that point and come out of their reptilian brain. If we get kind of quiet and we ignore that behavior and let it rest for a moment, this is in our personal sandbox, okay? Often the person will get bored and move away. Let's not put fuel on the fire. The goal of renunciation is temperance. The fourth of the Paramis is wisdom, developing discernment to see clearly, understanding that peace is possible. And developing wisdom takes practice. We will not gain this overnight. We can practice this on and off the cushion as an intention to awaken to reality and to focus our minds for accountability to ourselves and others. I'm thinking here of a therapist I used to work with. I don't know if any of you would know her. Her name is Rosemary Goodall. Lovely human being, a woman from England. And when you would work with her, if she heard something that was bizarre, off, or anything else, she just quietly kind of stepped back, softened, and she just was the model of grace. And then people would kind of sit there for a moment in that moment of silence with her and realize, ooh, I think I messed up there. I probably wasn't the best human I could be. And she's just looking at me. She's kind of accepting me. She's probably not thrilled with me, but she's not going to harm me. And I just remember how effective it was to be with Rosemary. Ignorance is at the heart of unhelpful behaviors. Ignorance divides groups, people, countries. Seeing our own ignorance is equally important as seeing it in another. The goal of wisdom is clarity, mindfulness in what we say and do, so as to breed peace. Next is energy, the effort to show up with courage, cultivating virtuous acts while overcoming laziness and stagnation, persistence in abandoning unwholesome acts. The goal is tenacity, to dedicate a dedication to promotion of well-being for all for long-term benefit. Next is patience. I'm not saying I do all of these paramis. I'm just saying I want to take a look at them. Okay, this one's problematic for me on patience. Staying steady through change. Signs of lack of patience are clinging to what you want, greed, and an unhealthy preoccupation with oneself and one's own circumstances. And I want it done now. Investigating patience gives us insight to impermanence. This will change the circumstance. However, in this moment, it is as it is. Why do I fight it? Why do we fight it? What is? The only control we have is in the next moment. We can't change the past. We can only wisely choose behavior going forward. To develop patience, practice wise concentration, developing a steady mind with your meditation and your mindfulness practices. The goal is tolerance of the present moment, understanding conditions as is, and your reaction to those conditions determine the fallout from those conditions. Cause and effect, karma. I act, something happens. There's a shift. Number 7 is truthfulness, living from what is real, including beneficial disclosures, discovering what is true and telling the truth. Wise speech is not harsh, false, untimely, and doesn't succumb to gossip or unnecessary chatter. We may be uncomfortable to disclose that which does not make us feel appear favorable, but not disclosing can lead to division in important relationships, which could be worse. Remember to give up the ego. It's good to be in communication. The goal is candor for the development of intimacy and trust. We are not going to have any chance of helping another person to see differently if they don't trust us. The 8th is determination, aligning intention with action. Seeing clearly into the cause of suffering, which is clinging, as we know. Resolving to change habits of the mind so skillful habits can become more spontaneous. This takes practice. The goal is tenacity and effort, following through with intention for beneficial outcome. And next we have loving kindness, cultivating unconditional friendliness and goodwill to see the humanity in all. Cultivating forgiveness, we can be, all of us can be ignorant, deluded, greedy, and hate-filled at times, just like me. And we all want to be safe and happy, just like me. The Dhammapada says, in this world, hate has never dispelled hate. Only love dispels hate. This is the law, ancient and inexhaustible. The goal of loving kindness is kindness. Hate fuels a cycle of negativity that can only be broken by compassion to sit with. Hatred is an extreme form of aversion fueled by fear. Name the fear and you will have insight. Intimidation breeds fear and hatred. It is recommended to maintain composure and neutrality. This is where our grounding practice comes in. Intimidators often seek an emotional reaction, respond with a calm, steady tone, and maybe even use a power pause of being silent for a moment or two to avoid the knee-jerk reaction, any emotional reactions, and to break the momentum of intimidation. Set clear boundaries. Use short, direct, and non-defensive phrases such as, I'm not comfortable with that. Control the narrative of the body language. Stand your ground, yet maintain, they recommend comfortable eye contact. Sometimes it's good to just kind of come down a little bit in the gaze. Direct eye contact can sometimes be very confrontational. And use open body language that shows you're not interested in confronting someone for harm. It takes courage, but it may touch the deep humanity in another to help them feel safe because they are likely fueled by fear also. This reminds me, it just came to mind, sorry. Do you guys remember the photo years and years ago of the man who stood in Tiananmen Square in front of that tank? That was a powerful image. And use strategic detachment. Act unimpressed or bored to remove the satisfaction of power the other person feels. Some of you are familiar with Richard Rohr, the writer, Franciscan priest. He encourages readers to fight hate without becoming hate yourself. Mother Teresa said she was not interested in attending any protest, but would participate in a peace rally. Martin Luther King Jr. worked for civil rights advancement through nonviolent resistance. And recently, the monks' Walk for Peace was quiet, steadfast, peaceful, and supported by the masses of all genders, religions, ideologies. It was evident people are hungry for peace and kindness. And then finally, equanimity. Being with what is without having to change it. Equal treatment of all rivals, even-handedness, fair-mindedness, based decisions on objective criteria rather than emotion, bias, prejudice, or preference. Accepting what is, because it's already occurred. The only power you have is in the next moment. Pay attention to the whole truth. Understand the law of cause and effect, how this moment came to be, and how to move it positively forward with wise action. The goal is compassion, commitment to compassion, and faith and strength with this path. These factors can be developed on and off the cushion. And if you wish to communicate your concerns to another, best to follow the above. Get ourselves straight first and understand our intentions and values. Keep them fresh in mind so we don't stray. For should we become emotionally charged during a transaction? I don't know about you, but it would be scary to me. I'd have to really try to ground. They say don't write or say something you don't want published in the front page of the news. Using the above parameters to write a letter, send an email, make time to communicate face-to-face, participate in a peace rally, or just as an intention to use these tools with the next person you come across in your path. Before we hit send, to post, to spew the next word, check back in with your values and what message you are planning to send, and ask if this is truly what you want or you're just blowing off steam to temporarily reduce your own discomfort. These are perfections, not likely to be fully attained in our lifetime. But we can always reset if we've not chosen these tools. And remember, next time I will, blank, blank, blank. If all else fails, bridging the divide seems impossible. Go dancing. Yes, it's true. I've noticed at contra dance and at swing dance, we are all together having fun. We have that in common. We don't know each other's religion, political leanings, economic status, or even their gender. Yet we are together in good spirits and we even touch each other, and it's okay. It all seem to be just trying to be in community. It's a start. If you need an even more baseline start, just start on the cushion and breathe, remembering we all have the breath in common. And remember, no one wants to be forgotten or ignored, just like me. How to remember these paramis? Because there's 10 of them, okay? Maybe read through that list each night before you go to bed. If you happen to have Thea's handout from last weekend, you can take a look at that each night. Help us to learn them. And when you do use the paramis, take a little time out and feel that self-love and feel the joy of using the paramis. You have generously chosen to be a force of good. And maybe this mnemonic will help us to remember generosity, morality, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. I came up with Grandma really wants everyone peaceful to do love everywhere.